Hello everyone, welcome to the 100 Literary and Jury Charge. I'm going to start off with an article here. This is called 10 People in One. Okay, here we go. Ready? Several years ago, a young man named Billy Milligan was arrested. He was charged with attacking and robbing a number of people. When lawyers told him what he had done, Billy seemed surprised. As he answered their questions, his voice seemed to change. First, he spoke with a British accent. Then he switched to a strong voice with a Slavic accent. Finally, Billy began to scream and cry like a child. At this point, a psychologist was called in. A psychologist is a scientist who studies a person's behavior and problems of the mind. The first words the psychologist said were, "Good morning, Billy." The young man answered, "Billy is asleep. I'm David." Was the prisoner, Billy Milligan, faking? Not according to the psychologist or the judge. The judge found Milligan not guilty. Billy was judged to be insane. He was sent to a hospital for medical treatment. Who is the real Billy? According to the psychologist, Billy is a sick young man. He has a mental disease known as multiple personalities. This means that a number of different personalities exist inside Billy. Some of these personalities are friendly and peaceful, but others are not. Billy's original personality, the one he first developed in childhood, is known as his waking self. This personality is in control of Billy most of the time, but sometimes the waking self blacks out. One of Billy's other personalities then takes over his mind and body. This personality may remain a moment, an hour, or for several days. When Billy's waking self returns, he usually can't remember what happened during the blackout. Billy was treated by Dr. Cornelia Wilbur. Dr. Wilbur is an expert on multiple personality problems. One of her most famous cases was a young woman named Sybil. Sybil had 16 personalities. The story of her treatment resulted in a best-selling book and a TV movie. Dr. Wilbur's first job with Billy was to identify all his personalities. During many talks with Billy, Dr. Wilbur uncovered 10 personalities. 8 were males and 2 were females. They ranged in age from a shy 3-year-old girl named Christine to a self-confident 22-year-old man named Arthur. One of the personalities, Adelina, was very violent. She was probably responsible for Billy's crimes. What causes multiple personalities to develop? In Billy's case, it was a very unhappy childhood. Billy was a bright, sensitive boy. His father killed himself when Billy was only 3 years old. His stepfather treated him badly. To ease his bad feelings, Billy developed other personalities. In the U.S., there may be more than 5,000 cases of multiple personalities. Many of these cases are never even recognized. Okay, moving right along. I've got some congressional record for you. This is on a living dream. All right. Here we go. Ready? Let me give you a short word list. You're going to hear volatile, veteran, dedication, anti-nuclear, explosive, slogan, campaign, muster, adversaries. Okay, here we go. Mr. Speaker, for several years now, my hometown, the city of Santa Barbara, California, has been organizing and leading a campaign called A Living Dream. This campaign is aimed at encouraging and stimulating community service and pride and promoting the city's economic goals. Not surprising, the campaign is effective, exciting, and widely supported. On February 11, 2011, the citizens of Santa Barbara had the chance of a lifetime to show that actions do speak as loud as words. I am proud to report that citizens supporting A Living Dream were able to muster mass support and recognition when a potentially volatile situation develops. In a broad demonstration of community pride and unity, Santa Barbara was the scene of the dedication of the Ronald Reagan Library. During these dedication ceremonies, nearly 50 veterans stormed on the assemblage chanting anti-nuclear slogans, harassing the police officers, and attempting to cause total chaos and confusion. A great deal of credit goes to the chairperson of A Living Dream. Without so much as a wave of the hand, the dedication ceremonies were halted, and the chairperson approached the leader of the veterans and shook his hand and thanked him for coming to the dedication. The chairperson encouraged the veterans to join in the truly worthwhile cause of working with their adversaries rather than against them. The veterans were invited to stay for the dedication ceremony. As you can see, the city of Santa Barbara contains some truly enlightened community leaders, a highly professional police force, and a group of caring and reasonable citizens. By positive actions, a potentially explosive situation was avoided. The city of Santa Barbara reinforced the meaning of the right to peaceful assemblage and the right to free speech. Okay. I'm going to give you some jury instructions. We'll pick up where we left off, okay? Here we go. First degree intentional homicide, as defined in 940.01 of the Criminal Code of Wisconsin, is committed by one who causes the death of another human being with the intent to kill that person or another. Before you find the person, the defendant, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide, the state must prove by evidence which satisfies you beyond a reasonable doubt that the following two elements were present. Number 1, Brendan Dassey caused the death of Teresa Halbach, or aided and abetted another in causing the death of Teresa Halbach. Cause means that the defendant's acts were a substantial factor in producing the death. Number 2, Brendan Dassey acted with the intent to kill Teresa Halbach, whether he did so directly or aided and abetted another. Intent to kill means that the defendant had the mental purpose to take the life of another human being, or was aware that his conduct was practically certain to cause the death of another human being. While the law requires that the defendant acted with intent to kill, it does not require that the intent exists for any particular length of time before the act is committed. The act need not be considered or reflected upon for a week, a day, an hour, or even a minute. There need not be any time between the formation of the intent and the act. The intent to kill may be formed at any time before the act, including the instant before the act, and must continue to exist at the time of the act. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I've got some legal opinion for you. Okay. All right. You're going to hear premeditated, interwoven, perpetrated, malice, aforethought, deliberate, pondered, schemed, reflection, duration, consequences, contemplation, calculated, impulsive. All right. Here we go. The subject of deliberate murder and premeditated murder is interwoven into one issue. We define only murder which is perpetrated by a willful killing, a deliberate killing, or a premeditated killing, when express malice aforethought is present, as murder of the first degree. The word willful means intentional. Willful is something that is said or done deliberately. A synonym for willful is voluntary. The word deliberate means formed or determined or arrived at based upon a careful process of thinking and weighing any and all considerations for and against the proposed course of action. The word premeditated means to consider beforehand any plan which is thought out, schemed, or planned before an act is premeditated. When you find that a killing was preceded and accompanied by an obvious and deliberate intent on the part of the defendant to kill, which was the result of careful deliberation and premeditation, so that the act must have been performed based upon pre-existing reflections and not governed by a sudden heat of passion or other condition precluding the idea of deliberation, it is murder of the first degree. The law cannot undertake the responsibility of measuring in seconds, minutes, hours, or days the length of the period of time during which a thought must be weighed and pondered before it can mature into an actual intent to kill, which is truly deliberate and premeditated. The time will vary with different individuals and under varying circumstances. The true test is based not on the duration of time, but rather on the extent of the contemplation. A cold and calculated decision may be arrived at in a rather short period of time, but a rash and impulsive act, even though it includes the intent to kill, does not require such deliberation and premeditation as defined by law as an unlawful killing in murder of the first degree. Any opinion is subject to interpretation and consideration because all situations will vary according to the surrounding circumstances. In order to constitute a deliberate, premeditated killing, the question of killing must be weighed and considered, and the reasons for and against such a choice must be weighed. With this in mind and knowing the consequences, my opinion is that a deliberate, premeditated killing is perpetrated when a person decides to and does kill. All right, we have a couple more minutes. I'm going to read just a little bit from Awaken the Giant Within, Dreams of Destiny. Okay, here we go. We all have dreams. We all want to believe deep down in our souls that we have a special gift, that we can make a difference, that we can touch others in a special way, that we can make the world a better place. At one time in our lives, we all had a vision for the quality of life that we desire and deserve. Yet, for many of us, those dreams have become so shrouded in the frustrations and routines of daily life that we no longer even make an effort to accomplish them. For far too many, the dream has dissipated, and with it, so has the will to shape our destinies. Many have lost that sense of certainty that creates the winner's edge. My life's quest has been to restore the dream and to make it real, to get each of us to remember and use the unlimited power that lies sleeping within us all. Okay, and that concludes our literary and jury charge for the 100 class. Have a great day.